रिवर्स काउंटिंग देना लाइव होते समय.
We are live, sir. Go ahead.
Greetings from ACP India chapter. Myself, Dr. Anuj Maheshwari, Governor, American College of Physicians, India chapter. First of all, I wish you all Happy Independence Day. On this occasion of the Independence Day, ACP India chapter is starting a new series on well-being of clinicians, especially the doctors and other healthcare workers, regarding their own health and awareness and their own life tension and stress has to be tackled, and in fact their resilience, what they can get in their routine or day-to-day life. We are coming up with those kinds of a program, and multiple sessions will be done. Every month we'll be having one program on the well-being of clinicians. First program is started today, and Dr. Ajay Tiwari, who has been the Joint Secretary of our chapter, the same time he is presently the National Coordinator for the well-being of India chapter. At the same time, he is also nominated for the well-being champion for this year in American College of Physicians. So from India chapter, he has been nominated for this particular award, for this coveted award, and I will request him to start the program which is being designated for the day. Over to Dr. Ajay Tiwari.
Thank you, Governor sir, and I feel esteemed for the honor that you have bestowed on me. First of all, I convey my heartiest greetings to all of you on the 77th Independence Day of the nation, and on this auspicious occasion, we are starting a new program, and this program has been called the Soul Curry. So the first question which was asked to me on the social media forum and other places, why Soul Curry? So all the happiness emanates from the soul, and the curry signifies whatever is India, because internationally, if you see, it is the curry which if you say curry, it always denotes India. So this was the concept behind putting this name, and we intend to do a lot of online and offline activities over the next 1 year, and I think we will be doing this program on a perpetual basis, and the intent is to promote wellness in our chapter and Indian physicians. And the benchmark was the survey which was conducted under the able leadership of our governor last year, and we found some problems with our Indian physicians, and we wanted that we should try to rectify them. So we conceived this program, and when I talked with the governor and I suggested that you were the first well-being champion from India, so it would be the best that we start this program with an interaction with you. So he was hesitant, but I persuaded him somehow, and we started this. We are starting this program with him for the first time. So without telling him, I collected few material from social media, and I tried to make a journey, an MP4, from his being a well-being champion to the Governor, American College of Physicians. So it's very inspiring, and hopefully the short video will give us all insights on how he balances his social life, his work, and his clinical aspirations. So please play the video. So you all will agree that it was a very interesting journey, and the journey we could capture very few moments from his this checkered career. We were not able to get the complete because he was not in loop anywhere. So whatever I could collect from the social media, so I made this small video. So without much ado, I will request the Governor, American College of Physicians, Indian Chapter, Professor Anuj Maheshwari, to share his vision about how we can promote the well-being for Indian physicians and also his vision for the growth of the chapter. So over to Professor Anuj Maheshwari.
Thank you, Ajay. And thank you very much for doing a lot of good work and collecting so much pictures and making them at one place and making this video. It has really make me myself overwhelmed, and I went in down the memory lane for last few years. So although it does not believe that we have done so much of the things in the past when we look back. So it is really a thing which gives a lot of pleasure. And in fact, I want to say that most of the physicians, either they are in India or they are in some other country, or they may be anywhere in the world. They may have sometimes sometimes some moments which are filled with doom, but at the other end or at some time they get these kinds of the moment also, what you have shown from my life. It does not mean that I have not gone through the moments of the doom and moments of the sadness and moment of the failure. Everyone has to face this kind of the phase, and I have also faced that kind of the phase. But this once you are keep on working, once you are keep on doing some efforts, then probably you overcome all those negativities in your life, and you are filled with many successful events what you have shown to a lot of our members on this video. So let me come on the topic. I am sharing my PPT before I may go for the question answer what you are going to ask me. I must say to the physician friends, or especially the Indian physician friends, what is the importance of resilience after meeting the challenges? And that is the thing which a person may be required whenever he is going through his bad phase of his life. And many a times it happens to all of us. Then we are going through some bad phase, and some of the people get so much depressed. Now we are listening so much voices across the country or out of the country that this much of the doctor has done suicide, this much of the doctor has gone through some sickness and some kind of the, and lot of divorces are occurring. But if we can do handle the situation carefully or with mindfulness, probably we may not be getting all these adverse outcomes in our life. So let me start my presentation, which I have given the title of the resilience after the meeting the challenges. Resilience is a feature which every human being should have, but many a times we make our life so much stubborn that resilience gets lost. So always try to make it more and more in your life so that you are having a chance of bouncing back always. And bouncing back is the thing which makes you keep going. And that is the thing which actually gives us real pleasure when you bounce back after a big phase of the failure or after the big phase of the doom. So let me tell you what is the meaning of resilience. And resilience is a capacity to respond to stress in a healthy way, such that goals are achieved at minimal psychological and physical cost. So this is the definition, or in other words, what I can say or what you can understand and everybody can understand, resilience means something very much elastic. Life is quite elastic and it is ready to bounce back. Whenever you are doing, you should be so much liberal and uh, so much having a tendency to bounce back that no problem can obstacle your way. Resilient individuals bounce back after challenges while also growing stronger after the bouncing back. And many people who knows me very closely, they can understand that what is actually the bounce back. And my life is actually the example of bouncing back after so much of the doomed phenomena. In India, it is a study which has been done by IMA Maharashtra, in which they found that doctors are dying earlier than a normal city. Doctors who help the patient, they try to keep them stay fit, are dying younger, as they themselves do not follow the instruction. In the picture, you can see a doctor who is looking after a patient who is sick, but he is not looking after himself. You can see his weight, you can see his posture, you can see his uh, health, and we can understand that probably after a few years he may not be as much fit as he is today. Majority of them die due to cardiovascular diseases and many a times early malignancy. Out of the all non-communicable diseases, four non-communicable diseases are the most prominently occurring, in which cardiovascular disease and malignancy keeps their level on the top. Average Indian lives up to 69 to 72 years, whereas a doctor, Indian doctor, lives only up to 55 to 59 years. So this is actually a very unfortunate situation where lot of it is not only a human loss, it is not only a loss of a life, but it is also a life which is very much required for the nation. A doctor's life which is very much needed for the nation. Already in our country, doctors are much lesser than the population doctor ratio. But still, if we are losing the doctors in that way so early, it is a matter of great concern. 400 physicians suicides every year. This is a word figure. 28 to 40 doctors out of the 1 lakhs out of, and general population, this phenomena is 12.3. Means you can say more than 2.5 times doctors are doing suicide as compared to the general population. In general population, 12.3% in every 1 lakh do the suicide in a year, while in doctors this figure rises up to the 28 to 40, means 2 to 3 times, even more than 3 times. Male doctors commit suicide at a rate of 70% higher than other professionals. Female doctors commit suicide at a rate of 250 to 400% higher than other professionals. Over a million patients lost their physician to suicide each year. So 1 million patients lose their physician every year just because of those physicians are not being able to handle their own problems of their life. Now question arises, why do these professional dissatisfaction or burnout occurs? And why does we say that well-being matters a lot? If we talk about the burnout, definitely once a person is burdened with the work, once a person is in the condition of the burnout, obviously he is more prone to have more medical errors. Obviously, the turnover is more, but productivity is less. More people, you may be having a bigger crowd in your clinic, but actually the patient satisfaction would be much lesser, and even your satisfaction would be much lesser. Many a times your speed gets lesser and lesser to look after your patient. Staff satisfaction is also gets jeopardized, and many a times they are not staying with you. You may not be able to retain them. They may start leaving the job. Physicians likely to reduce their clinical hours in such situation. And when it happens, a person is full of the doom and person is full of the depression. He doesn't want to stay in his clinic. He doesn't want to meet with their patients, and gradually he starts reducing the clinical hours. And that is the extreme of the burnout. If we talk about the burnout rate across the world, it is around 50%. Internal medicine hospitalist also it is 52.3, around 50%. You can find everywhere either 47% in male internets, 55 in the women internets, little higher than the women internets. And also in our Indian population, what study we have done last year about the burnout, we found Indian population is also having this much of the figure. But what is the problem with the Indian doctor? In other countries, doctors, they accept the burnout. Indian doctors actually don't know what is the definition of the burnout, and many a times they feel burnout when they are not overworked. And they many a times feel burnout when other physician or other colleague is looking after more patient. And this kind of the competitive atmosphere many a times deteriorates their own health. And it is to be stopped. And at some point of the time, we should not be so much competitive in our life. It is difficult to say how many people, those who are attending this program, has experienced burnout in their life, because many a times we feel but we don't realize it. Many a times we are getting the burnout, but we feel happy because internally we are very happy that we are looking after the patient from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. But actually it is harming our health. So burnout is happening somewhere. May not be at your mind, may not be at your heart, but definitely at the cost of your health you are doing the work. So actually I can define the burnout with these two pictures where you can see once the rope is pulled up to the extent it is just going to break. This is actually the burnout. So fundamental changes in healthcare has actually brought this burnout more speedily. Like suddenly we saw that more number of the patients has been there. Continuously increasing population, especially in India, is also responsible for that. Although we are increasing with our population, but we are actually not increasing in doctors' number as fast as the population is. Now, for last few years, the government has taken its attention that new medical colleges and new faculties are being admitted in medical colleges more frequently, so that now we are getting some burden lesser among the existing doctors, but still lot is to be done. Still some much is to be required to be done. Rise of electronic health record. Electronic health records are required for multiple purposes. Electronic health records are required for the research purpose. Electronic health records are required for improvement in billing, taking the financial uh, correctness. At the same time, in India, electronic health records are mostly required for lot of litigation. Lot of rules and regulation has been made because of what electronic health records are made to be taken, and actually they makes the life of a doctor more difficult when they are not getting enough time to do their clinical practice, to do the clinical skills for the betterment of the patient, spending more time in filling up the form, spending more time filling up the electronic health records. Rising negative use of the doctors is another problem. And this is not only in India we see, it is across the world. We are looking over that the media, the newspapers, channels, many a times show such kind of the reports about a doctor, then public gets uh, feeling of the negativity about them. And their trust is reduced about the doctor. And last but not the least, duty hours are being increased, especially in the corporate world. We are seeing that doctors are working under great pressure and they are being given target like any person is being given in the business industry. And actually, the human care is not to be targeted as a business. Human care is the human care. It should always be done with the gentleness, extreme gentleness, but many a time people, those who run hospital like a business apartment or like a business entrepreneur, they are not understanding the delicateness of this profession. If we talk about the personal consequences, as I already said, physician satisfaction and safety is the most important. It not only brings the disruption to the family, we see then when a physician or clinician is not satisfied of his life, of his profession, and he is not safe from the patient side, then he is not having his interest in doing the work. I have seen a lot of my physician friends, instead of putting up their time in their clinical practice, they start doing the they start doing the other businesses many a time. They start putting up their interest towards the online trading, and many a times they have become interested in share market and other kind of the activity. So this happens only when a person is not satisfied of his own life, and once this dissatisfaction is there, it takes up to the more incidence of the divorce, more depression, more anxiety, and obviously some people start doing the substance abuse like tobacco, like alcohol, and ultimately rate of the suicide also gets increased. So whenever we talk about a aims of the patient care, whenever we talk about the what should be the aim of the patient care, although three aims are already established, like enhancing patient experience, we should improve the population health at the lowest possible cost. But the fourth aim should be care of the physician should also be important. Fourth aim should be the physician wellness. And this fourth aim, for fulfilling this fourth aim, the government and other agencies as well as social system should also remain activated, because patient cannot be responsible for his own health alone. Other societies, other parts of the society should also contribute in keeping the wellness of a physician. In addition to addressing the burnout and wellness as a systemic issue in the work setting, prioritize the self-care as another component of medical professionalism is an important. So where does solution lie? If we talk about a physician, obviously the control of the self-efficiency, family support, friend support, and network of the friends, network of the social system, better work-life balance, all these are the things which are really very easy to tell to anyone. It's very, very much difficult to understand and apply in our own life. On the other hand, the healthcare system should also support the physicians in the way that the people, those who are sitting in the healthcare system, they should understand the pressure, what the physicians are facing. They should understand the burnout. They should recognize the burnout. They should find the ways to help physicians fulfilling potential and connect with the patient. They should prioritize the physician well-being in one way or another way. At the same time, they should revamp reimbursement system to measure and reward high quality compassionate care as compared to the volume of the patients and volume of the healthcare what they are doing to in their hospital. Always the quality should be given the upper hand as compared to the volume of the care. So if we talk about the work-life balance, obviously, it's not so easy as it is easy to say, like family, career, life, health, friends, they all make, and it's very much difficult to keep balance among them. I remember when I started my practice, in those days, if I need to meet any of my friends, I was having only one time, that was the 11 p.m. time. So whenever my friend gets a call bell at 11 p.m., they used to understand that I am there on their doorbell. So these kinds of the understandings has been developed about the doctors, because it's really difficult to keep. But still I tried to keep balance. There were the two options. Either you stop going to your friends, or you still continue despite facing all these obstacles. So I chosen the second way. I kept continue meeting the friends instead of stop meeting them. Adequate sleep is very much important. Everybody would agree, every doctor would agree, even every non-doctor shall also agree that adequate sleep is required. Awakening circulation and energy by doing the various kind of the exercise, may it be yoga, may it be different other kinds of the aerobic and anaerobic exercises, could help us keeping our body's circulation and energy intact. We should pay attention to diet and exercise. It's not much to say to the clinician what should they eat and what should they not eat, because they are the people who are supposed to tell others what should be eaten and what should not be eaten and how much exercise is required. Nobody can understand other than the clinician or physician. Take breaks from the technology. And this is the most important thing. At this time, 9 to 10, we are still on our technology. In fact, COVID has made us more technology friendly, or you can say other word would be better to use. COVID has made us trapped in technology more strongly. So here you can see a person is using the two monitors at once, and third gadget he is having in his form of the phone, and fourth one he is taking in his hand in the form of his mobile. So four things he is doing together. So this is the multitasking what usually we do in our life, and mostly it is seen with the doctors when they are doing. And when we doctors are facing this, then one more gadget remains there, that is our stethoscope, and our patient are sitting front. One more gadget remains on our table, that is our blood pressure instrument. So it is not only these four gadgets which are troubling a doctor, we are troubled with many more other things also together. So actually the multitasking is being done by us, and which is reducing the pace and potential of our efficiency. Setting the boundaries is very much important. No is a complete sentence. It does not require any justification or explanation. Once I say that, no, I don't want to do this work, may it be patient to see the patient, may it be to see some paperwork, may it be to see some online consultation. No means no. And we should not uh, put ourselves in any such kind of the dilemma that if I shall not be doing, then probably the patient will die, because there are many other doctors who can take care of that patient. For you, your own care is also very much required. If you are not healthy, probably nobody is going to take care tomorrow once you will not be fit for the job and you may not be going to your hospital. Another very important thing what we always recommend to my colleagues, that is practice mindfulness. Awareness of the present moment. We should always live in the present moment. We should try to enhance the clarity of our thoughts. Not a technique, but although always should remain in a state of being. So increasing the productivity, creativity, efficiency, energy, and self-esteem, they all things takes us to the mindfulness. And mindfulness, many a times it is very difficult to translate the mindfulness in the life, because every language may be having different meaning of the mindfulness. If we talk about its meaning in the Hindi, then I find that mindfulness means jivantata. We should keep this mindfulness in our life continuously. It's about being fully awake in our life, always alert, always knowing what is happening around. It is about perceiving the exercise vividness of each moment. Whenever we are living the life, we should be in best of its form. Execucide is a term what we usually use but rarely understand. So whenever a thing is one of best of its best, that is called as execucide. And vividness, we understand that it is also full of our alightness, and full of our mindfulness. More time for the play should is another important thing. I think every physician would agree that we should have more time for play. This slide I like most of the time, and many times I believe that we always follow our left brain. Very rarely we always follow our left brain. Very rarely we give a chance to our the right brain. What exactly happens when we use? Actually, left brain is that which takes us into the linear manner. Left brain is identifies the important detail. It takes us to the analytical. It is more of the sequential order. And many of the times it talks about the logic. So we doctors always talk about the logic, like we always try to find the evidence. We always try to find the logic. Until unless we don't find the evidence, until unless we don't find the logic, we don't start doing the thing. So rarely our right brain starts getting a chance of working. What does it do? Right brain is taking the things holistically. It is not even, it is not having a tubular vision. It is having a holistic vision. Many of the time we see that when a person is working with the right brain, it is looking after the end results clarity instead of the procedure. At the same time, they are more creative, they are more artistic, they are taking up randomly from task to task, and many a times they are intuitive also. So a lot of people, those who work with the right brain, they believe in their intuition and they go with their intuition, and sometimes it also helps and it makes your life more easy and more interesting. Many a times once you are going with the rules, always living with the rules, then probably it becomes quite monotonous. So sometimes we should also learn to break the rules. Not only, and not I am telling to break the rules that that may take us to the jail or may take us to the law keeping forces, but we should try to break the rules what we have made for our own life, and we should enjoy the life in its a manner whatever it is there, and we should try to make enjoy it in its realistic phenomena, its realistic manner. So managing our energy is most important thing. We should aim to optimize energy level first. How shall it be taken care? This energy lies into the four things in our life. One is the body, another is the spirit, third is the mind, and fourth is the emotion. So if we talk about in our own language, body, we understand that most of the time we take this energy only and rest of the energies are kept aside. So you can see that only one line is there in the body and quantity. But once the spirit is combining with the body, your soul is adding up to your body. It becomes not 1 plus 1, 2, it becomes 1 plus 1, 3. And when you add the mind, means you start doing the things with the mindfulness, your brain is start working, then it becomes 5. And emotion means what the heart says. Many a times we see that heart is the only pump, but heart does not mean that heart what is pumping the blood. Heart means that part of your brain which is looking after the emotions, and that part is also very much important, because once this is the only part which gives you pleasure, and this whenever you work anything by emotions and with the heart, at the end of the day you will feel very happy. So happiness lies in the emotion only. So for wellness of the body, at least 7 to 8 hours of the uninterrupted sleep is required. One study has shown that doctors who were made to eat every 4 to 5 hours were more productive than those who worked through meals. Means those who are taking very frequent meals, or while doing the work they are keep on eating, they may not be doing very consistent, and they may not be keeping their health very consistent and very good. Better to have the fix your hours of the food, minimize quick fixes, kind of the things like caffeine, sugar, processed or nutrient poor foods in your routine while seeing the patient. It's better to avoid taking coffee and tea while looking after the patient. Listen to your body, do the twitching of the eyes, do the grinding of the teeth, and also listen to your GI symptoms also. Incorporate regular exercise, movement exercises like yoga, tai chi, qigong, or laughter. Laughter is always supposed to be the best exercise. Mind is a multitasking most of the time in majority of the doctor. And multitasking makes us underproductive. It reduces our productivity. Whenever we are doing two, three tasks together, nothing is going to be completed. For example, if you are answering an email, if you are taking a phone call, and you are looking after a patient, probably none of the things would be completed in a time in which if you were doing any one thing of that, and it takes as much as 25% higher time than taking it lesser if it would have been taken alone. Fully focus for the 90 to 120 minutes, take a true break, and then fully focus on the next activity. And that should be a better policy. Access renewal room for an uninterrupted stretch in your clinic. This is very good slide. Mostly I show to many of my colleagues, which is showing the two functional brain scans of author of this article, which has been published in some of the very good journal. In this, it has been shown on the one side, it is a baseline scan. On the other side, this is a brain scan while meditating. And this shows the metabolic activity. Red part is showing the metabolic activity, while the blue part is showing the lesser activity when a person is there. So whenever is done the baseline, you can see that black part is more. But on the other hand, the meditating part is showing you more of the red part is becoming more and more prominent once a person is doing the meditation. It actually gives you the improvement in the metabolic activity once you do the meditation. Many times, a single breath makes a difference. If you take a big breath up to the top of your head, hold it for 3 counts, exhale all the way to your toes, inviting any stress, tension, or worry to go out with your going out breath. Hold the full exhale for a 3 count and then breathe normally. This makes you more easily stress-free and more easily tension-free. Take this breath each time you touch a doorknob to go in the room with the patient, and whenever you are going to call the patient, you should do this exercise again and again. Each situation of the emotion should be viewed in 3 new lenses. One is the reverse lens. What would the other person in this conflict, and in what way might that be true? Long lens, they ask, how will I most likely view this situation in 6 months? And wide lens, regardless of the outcome of this issue, how can I grow and learn from it? So, long lens is always a, you can say, far-sightedness. Far-sightedness, or what we call in our own language, that is a durdarshita. While the wide lens is a thing you are looking over a thing in a holistic manner. Reverse lens is that when you are seeing and thinking, if it would not happen, then what would have happened? So what can an individual do, especially if we talk about a physician? A person, individual who is also known as physician, should heal thyself. How? Take care of yourself and don't be your own doctor. Learn time management and prioritization. Set and maintain limits. Learn to say no. Exercise, eat well, and stay fit. Learn relaxation techniques. Explore meditation and spirituality. Demand schedules with less sleep cycle disruption. Create a financial plan. Take break and vacations. Learn how to waste time. Anticipate and prepare. Don't sacrifice the good enough at the altar of perfect. So don't always look for the perfection. Don't always search the perfection. Sometimes you should be satisfied with good enough only. Relentless pursuits of less. Laughter is the best therapy. Surround yourself with purveyors of the positivity, including yourself. Thank you for your kind listening. Hope I could be able to make my point better before you. I think Ajay can tell me what has he found this.
Thank you, sir. It was very enlightening. And I think you set the examples with your own journey. And very well said that you should surround yourself with the friends. So that is, I think, the best thing to do. And laughter is the best medicine. So very well, I think it was one of the most enlightening sessions I have heard over a period of time on good practices for preventing burnout. So, sir, now we will be having a few questions. And first question is a very personal question because we saw this recap of a journey from the first well-being champion from India to the governor of American College of Physicians. So everyone has his own moments. So what were those moments which you cherished the most in this journey?
Actually, when I have been awarded with the first time well-being champion, that was the moment what I really cherished much. In fact, much more than when I have been uh, given the chance of uh, contesting for the governor. At the same time, when I have got a phone call from Dr. Muruganathan that you have been elected as governor. So although these moments were very much enlightening and very much cherishing, but the most cherished moment was that when I got the well-being champion award, because that was the first thing which I have received from the ACP, and it has actually made me interested and I started making inroads in the business of ACP, and every year when I was going into the ACP, I was so much interested. Then I used to ask the well-being programs organizer that they should keep me there, they should make me a part of their program, Mini and Mighty, and so many other programs. And I prefer to take one or another lecture whenever I get chance and whenever I visit the annual ACP Congress at US.
Thank you, sir. And I think it's a big, proud moment for being the first well-being champion from the Indian chapter. And the second question is that you did a survey last year, and it was about the well-being. And I think it was the first survey of its kind in India where we saw the problems faced by the physicians because the concept of well-being is almost nascent in India. So, what challenges did you identify? And how do you feel how we can overcome these challenges and what we should do for meeting those things as a chapter?
Many times I found the biggest challenge that people are not ready to recognize their problem. People are facing problem. People are facing the problems up to the extent they are going to do suicide. Many of the people jump from the building, they get suicide in various ways, but still they don't ever tell their problem to their colleague. So it is the most important thing. Whenever you are facing any challenge in your life, you must share it with your colleague. Although I can understand that you may be having this thing in your mind that what this colleague will do, I have to face. Obviously, you have to face. But once you tell that something, probably no one knows, he may be having some solution of that. Even if he is not having any solution, at least you will be less burdened of your problem once you will be sharing it to others. So it is very much important people don't share their problem. Another most depressing thing in our system is that we always think that doctor is to serve only. And once you become the doctor, so you should place your life for the in the service of your patient, in the service of humanity. It looks very good and it's decent also. Whenever it is said, it is looks very decent. But we should always understand this thing. We are losing this doctor community very fast. Not only by their lesser life expectancy, not only by making them overburdened and making them unwell, but also the new generation is not willing to join this profession for these challenges. So these are the things which must be kept in mind whenever we talk about. Many a time I used to tell that incidents of my life when I saw that one of my teacher in undergraduation did not allow a person to enter in the class when he asked that why did you late, He said that I was doing the breakfast. So he said that a doctor should care more for his duties instead of breakfast. This thing I still remember after about 30, 40 years of this incident. Still, I remember this thing. And whenever this well-being issue is arising, this story comes back in my mind. And I think that these are the foundations which actually reduced the life expectancy and of Indian doctors and their capability whenever they are working in India. The same doctors, when they go outside and they work in other countries, they do their excellent performance, and we know that all the world class good doctors are majority of the world class good doctors are from the Indian origin, what we can say even in US too.
Sir, a very interesting question, because our young colleagues, the early career physicians, they are the most stressed lot. So they are going through the residency, they don't have the support, and they're residing in hostels and all those things. So how can we support them, and how can we go ahead and give them some support through our chapter or some initiatives? So that would be a great thing.
Actually, since when I have joined as a governor this institute, ACP India chapter, my all focus remained on the early career physician. If you remember, when I started my first program, that was also for the early career. Because that is the thing what I have faced and I lived in myself. And what happens in India, a person completes his post-graduation and then sub-specialization, and he becomes of 35 years old. After 35 years, he starts doing the practice or he starts getting some job in some medical college. If he is doing the job in medical college and hospital, obviously it gives a good salary nowadays. Earlier, it was not even good that also. Medical colleges, when I have started my practice, even medical colleges salary and hospital salary was also not very handsome. Nowadays, they have been quite better as compared to the earlier. But still, if you are going into the private practice, this becomes, again, you become the zero and you need to start with the zero. I still remember when I was doing my post-graduation, my wife came after completing her post-graduation and I was doing the senior residency here. And my wife started doing the practice and his 1 month, first month's earning was only 600 something rupees. So it was quite depressing that after so much of the study, this much of the little we are earning. So it makes many people really depressed. This is the worst profession. But actually, so that's why I always think that if any organization has to do something, we should do something for our early career physician so that they can develop themselves faster. I still remember in my early days, I used to go from one hospital to another hospital to another hospital. Many a times at night 2 p.m. or 1 p.m., somebody is calling from hospital that patient has got serious. So at that time, my adrenaline was running faster than the patient's adrenaline most of the time. And that makes a responsible for the bad health of the doctor. So I was feeling so bad at that time that what will happen, nobody knows. And when a new doctor is there and patient is very sick, then his own adrenaline rush becomes a bigger problem for himself. So somehow we can give the support. Somehow the things can be, policies can be made like that, that people may be having uh, a smooth sailing in their profession instead of they are facing these kinds of the challenges and we leave them just to face the challenges. So I think that although my seniors helped me a lot, my teachers helped me a lot in my profession. I still remember in my all challenging cases, whenever I asked to my teachers, they helped me. But everybody may not be that much of lucky. So that's why we should develop a hard foolproof system. And in that way, ECP case file was the example of that. So first of all, I thought that we must plan a program in which we should tell our clinician, early career clinician, how to handle the difficult cases, how to handle the problems in their life. So half of the program is dedicated for the difficult clinical cases, which are being narrated by a experienced physician. Another half is dedicated to the financial planning and routine life issues like ethical issues, financial planning, insurance, and other things, so that a person may be having his own life also on the track. And whenever he is growing up after 30 years of the practice or more than that, then he may not be feeling that he has not left with anything to live his life. So that is the main aim for what I took in my hand. And second thing, I took the women health, that has also been taken. Although a lot of things are already being done for the women health, but we are not really much concerned for that. And women health, especially in the women's care, especially in the early career physicians group, is again a difficult situation. Whenever a woman is joining this medical profession and she goes to the medical college as a faculty, or she starts doing the practice in any city, she had to face more challenges as compared to their male counterparts. So these are the things which always remained in my mind to do something for the early career physician. And I am trying to do, still I am left with 2 more years. So I have many plans in my mind to execute in coming 2 years for the early career.
Sir, one last question. Under your dynamic leadership, the American College of Physicians has emerged as one of the best organizations for the physicians in India. So how do you see the future of American College of Physicians India chapter, and how you envisage and what you think that you will be doing in next 2 years and the years to come to promote our chapter, that is American College of Physicians India chapter?
Yes. Very good question. In fact, I always think that American College of Physicians is giving us a lot of new insights which were not really already in our mind. It gives us new way of thinking. So whenever you meet 161,000 people, your colleagues who are the part of the ACP across the world, you get their ideas in a wider range. And a person who is handling the same situation in India, if another doctor who is handling the same situation in US, third person who is handling the same situation in Brazil, they all may be handling the things very differently. And Japan is another different thing, because Japan is a country that is technologically very highly advanced. And that's why when a Japanese doctor asked me that I want to speak in your conference on the exaggeration of COPD, then I said to her that this better can tell my Indian doctors. If you want to tell anything to us, you please tell how do you handle your patients in Japan? How do you do the hospital medicine practice in your Japan, in your country? That would be more enlightening for us instead of telling that how are you handling the exaggeration of the COPD. So because any Indian doctors can handle this much better in any other part of the world doctor. So these are the priorities which we had to fix in ACP India chapter, that what actually our Indian doctors need. I also wish that the Indian organization should also join hand with the ACP India chapter. I always believe that other organizations which are working for physicians in India, they are having a good and broader membership. They should come with the ACP, and ACP can join hand with them, and it can be transforming and translating the things whatever the ACP has to offer to those organizations. Because every doctor cannot become the ACP member. ACP cannot reach to each and every doctor because its own limitations are there. But once it joins hands with the local organization or our countrywide organization, it can very easily pass on the benefits to the people, those who are really requiring them, but cannot afford to take them.
So you gave the mantra transforming and translating. So that is the way ahead. communication and joining with other organizations, getting them into the loop. That is the mantra that you have given, sir. And with these words, I thank you very much for enlightening all of us and initiating this very interesting new concept of promoting the well-being lounge. And we will be doing a lot of online and offline activities in the coming months. So we will be looping in more of people from the other chapters also and from the local chapter also, and they will be sharing their experiences, how they faced. And in this journey, I think it will be inspiring for all of us, and many more doctors will get the inspiration to work for the betterment of the society. Thank you very much, sir. And with these words,
Thank you. And I believe that next program would be more interesting. And before we close today's program, we must announce the date and time and guest who is joining in the next program. It would be, I think, very good for the people to block their time and date. So I will request you to tell about the next program.
So that will be on 29th of this month. And one of our American counterparts who is also educating most of us, the well-being champions. So Marion will be joining us from US for 29th. She has already consented for that. And thereafter we'll have one Indian and one foreign speakers for this program. So that is what we have decided. And we will also be having a lot of offline programs also. And we are also planning something big for our forthcoming conference at Bhubaneswar. Hope to see you all there. So
please join us at the Bhubaneswar. If you are not registered, do register. Tomorrow is the last day of the submission of the papers, so you can submit the papers in all three categories. One category is the routine paper submission, another is the publication, best publication, and third is the clinical case. So in all the three categories, you are invited to submit your papers, and also you are requested to join us there. So looking forward to see you there also. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we can close this program with these words. Thank you. Thank you, Ajay, for doing everything. And